Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to News Dose, and even though we only have a few days until the Xbox Developer Direct, Xbox is still dropping some big news ahead of that showcase. You Xbox Game Pass subscribers right now have a lot to look forward to, as not only did they reveal some upcoming day one launch titles that will be releasing in the coming weeks, some very exciting ones at that, but we also got some news for two major day one Game Pass titles that are set to launch in 2024. So we're going to talk about that, as well as an upcoming PlayStation 5 exclusive that just got its release date set in stone. This will be one of their first big exclusives for 2024, as there has been a lot of praise for this particular title. So we will get into that as well, but let's just go and get things started off with a rather bizarre situation. 2024 is already getting off to a, we'll call it a childish start, or at least for Take-Two Interactive. Now, this isn't necessarily a new mantra for them per se. They've been ridiculous in the past, and all you really have to do is look back to 2021 when they decided to have a trademark dispute over the game It Takes Two. Apparently, at the time, they had a problem with the title of that game. So the petty company that they are, they decided to go after them and quote-unquote protect the company's name. Now, I will say, at least in that situation, they could make an argument that the names were similar, because they are. But that pales in comparison to their latest trademark dispute with Remedy Entertainment. So, I guess Take-Two has taken umbrage that their logo is too similar to Rockstar Games. Now, I'll include a picture on screen here and kind of let you all be the judge. But to me, I think they look completely different. But I guess Take-Two just believes with the utmost confidence that they own the letter R in all of its formats. By this point, we might as well just go ahead and remove the letter R from the alphabet, because apparently Take-Two owns it. Sorry, or I guess I should say soy. I don't know. It's a whole strange situation, but that seems to be their rationale. Let me know what you all think about all this, though. Do you think the logos are too similar, or do you think that Take-Two is just completely off the rocker? Also, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is set to make its debut later this week on January 19th, and reviews are starting to roll in now. Currently, as of this recording, it sits at a 90 overall score on Metacritic, which I think is interesting. Critics, they seem to absolutely love this game. It also won various awards the year it came out, but when you talk to the community, it tends to be a lot more polarizing, especially, I think, with the remaster that literally nobody asked for. I've seen comparisons for this game in the original, and to call it a remaster, I feel like it's a little generous, to say the least. I've not really seen a noticeable difference between the two versions, so here's my stance on the situation. If you've already played the original title and you now own a PlayStation 5, let's just go and disregard the review scores entirely for a moment, because no matter how you feel about that game, whether you love it or hate it, this remaster is not going to change your opinion. This game is only 4 years old, it already looks good on the PlayStation 4, and it runs even better on a PlayStation 5 through backwards compatibility. So I think what people need to kind of know in this case is that if you want to pay for that $10 upgrade that Sony's charging, don't do that expecting a world-changing difference to its visuals. It's a very minor difference from everything that I've seen. Now, if you're okay with that and you just really like this game, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for everybody else that's fine with the visuals through backwards compatibility, I think the bonus content is where you can maybe justify the price a little bit more. It does come included with a new roguelike mode, and they also re-added some cut content. So if that's something you're interested in, if you really like the combat of The Last of Us, I think that might make its upgrade a little bit more worthwhile for some people. Again, just don't go in expecting some earth-shattering difference compared to the original. Let's go and get into some of this Xbox news, though, because they do actually have a big week ahead of them. They do have that upcoming showcase, and before that event, they did further set expectations. Now, for a while, it's been rumored and speculated that they could have another Shadow Drop this year, similar to how they released Hi-Fi Rush at last year's Direct. However, according to their Xbox Wire post, that will not be the case. You can see here where they said, when will the games in the show be released? All the games in this year's Developer Direct will be arriving later, with more details to be shared in the program. So this does kind of make it sound like they're tempering expectations a little bit. It basically says don't go in expecting them to drop a game the same day of the showcase. Now, however, with that said, Some people might be confusing this a little bit, but this does not necessarily mean that they won't have a surprise reveal in store. You know, they could still show up with some kind of surprise, whether that be new gameplay for South of Midnight or even Double Fine's next game. We can't necessarily rule that out. I'm not saying that they will be there, but all I'm saying is that we can't necessarily rule them out. Currently, though, it doesn't sound like they'll release a game on January 18th. So just gotta keep that in mind as we inch closer to the Xbox Direct. However, what you absolutely never need to temper your expectations for is Xbox Game Pass. This is the gift that seemingly delivers month in and month out, and the beginning of 2024 is no different whatsoever. They just revealed their next wave of games, which includes Anucard, Brotato, Go Mecha Ball, Power World, Persona 3 Reload, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, and F1 23. Now, I think the two big inclusions here are easily Power World and Persona 3 Reload. I mean, the fact that Persona 3 Reload is launching directly into Game Pass day one is kind of unbelievable when you start to think about it. It was just a few years ago when fans were begging Atlas to support more platforms. And now fast forward to today, and not only are these games coming to Xbox now, but they're also releasing a major Persona remake directly into Game Pass. That is honestly crazy when you think about it. Now, since I've played the original though, I can safely tell you all right now that this is an excellent game. And I think that it's going to surprise a lot of people. Persona 5, yes, that's the game that everybody knows about. It catapulted the series into the mainstream. But, and I've said this before, you can make a very real debate that Persona 3 and Persona 4 are better than Persona 5. All three of these games are among the best JRPGs ever made, so I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy this game. And if you do have Game Pass, and if you like JRPGs, I want to say it right now, unless this game comes with unexpected problems, this is a must-play for the JRPG genre when it releases on February 2nd. Now, as for Power World, though, this has always been such a bizarre but oddly interesting game. It's often described as Pokemon with guns, and, you know, at first that sounds like a weird combination, but when you see its gameplay, it does actually kind of look fun. I also really like the visuals in this game. I mean, for as much discussion as there has been about the mainline Pokemon games and how they look, Power World, on the other hand, it looks pretty good. I mean, who knows how it'll actually turn out, but, you know, that's the beauty of Game Pass. If you're a subscriber, you're going to get to try it out yourself and see exactly how you feel when you play it. If you do, though, just kind of go in knowing that it's launching into early access first, so it's not 100% complete. If you do want to try it, however, it is set to come out on January 19th. Outside of those two games, though, I still think that there's a couple other titles worth paying attention to. Go Mecha Ball is set to launch day one on January 25th. It's this roguelike dual-stick shooter, and it's like this simple arcade game where you combine pinball physics and dual-stick shooting. I do like the idea at the bare minimum, so, you know, maybe give that one a try. And then you also have Brotato. Now, this game actually released last year, and fans absolutely adore it. It does have a 97% approval rating on Steam. That's always a great indication, and it's often compared to Vampire Survivors because of its simplicity. And I mean, if you've played that game, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's only a one-button game, and on the surface that might sound strange, but it is incredibly addictive. It is just so fun to play, and a lot of people actually prefer Brotato over Vampire Survivors. So if you like that game, then you might want to give Brotato a try as well when it launches in the Game Pass on January 30th. Here's the thing, though. We just talked about 7 different games for their next wave. I'd say it's a pretty good lineup, all things considered. But that wasn't the only news for Game Pass today. We actually got an update for 2 major titles, including Stalker 2 and Frostpunk 2. Now, there's a lot of anticipation for both these games, and Game Pass subscribers are going to be happy to know that they're going to be able to play both of these day one in 2024. Stalker 2 has officially announced its release date, and while it might be a little bit later than what some people were hoping for, it is now set for a September 5th release. Technically, that is a delay. It was originally expected to be in the first half of the year, but I think that that's more than understandable considering all the issues the studio has faced over the last few years. So, I mean, I'm just happy that they managed to still complete this game. Hopefully, it will turn out good. And now, you can go and mark your calendars. This is a major exclusive for the Xbox brand in 2024. Now, as for Frostpunk 2, though, this is much more of a PC-centric title. The first entry was wildly popular, and it was received by a lot of praise. Well, the much-anticipated sequel that's set 30 years after the original is now officially coming to Game Pass day one. They announced this through a new gameplay trailer, but there is one caveat here. This will be a staggered release. It will come to PC first, and then later on, it'll come over to consoles. In both situations, though, it will be available to Game Pass subscribers on day one, and you can expect to play it sometime in 2024. So yeah, I mean, Xbox is actually getting off to a pretty hot start for 2024. Game Pass just continues to unload, and we still also have that showcase to look forward to in just a couple days. Now, PlayStation Plus subscribers also have something to look forward to as well, because they actually have an exclusive title as a part of its lineup next month in February. Square Enix's new live service game, Foamstars, is set to release on February 6th. The thing is, though, is that the reception has been really strange for this game, because even now, it's drawing a lot of comparisons to Splatoon. And if you go look at the announcement trailers that they made just today, it's getting hit hard by a lot of downvotes. So that's where there's really two sides of the coin here. You have people who's played it and they seem excited, but for everybody outside, they're very skeptical of this title. I think that's one of the reasons I think it's so smart to launch this into PlayStation Plus. I think that gives Foamstars a much better chance at success. I mean, we'll see what happens with all this, but if it turns out to be as good as some people are describing online, this could maybe end up being a surprise hit when it launches next month on February 6th. For right now, though, just kind of based on how many dislikes their trailers are getting, it definitely seems like there's some skepticism, to say the least. So, Square Enix is going to have an upward hill to battle here, but we'll see if this just kind of ignites it when it does release, similar to what happened with Rocket League and Fall Guys. Both those games had a massive amount of success launching directly into PlayStation Plus. For those that have tried this game, though, let me know what you all think about it. Is it as good as some of the hype has let it out to be or not? Let me know your thoughts below. Anyways, though, that's it for this video. Subscribers of PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass are having a pretty good time, to say the least, right now. But until next time, peace out.